Good afternoon, y'all. I am Richardson Fleuridor, a biology instructor here. I was at the APC meeting yesterday, the Administrative Planning Committee, and it was reported that the actual 50% law expenditures by annual target by campus. Clovis, no less than 60%. Madera, no less than 58%. Ridley, no less than 59%. Fresno City, no less than 60%. And then I was sitting, I was like, who decided that? Because when we became the latest community college in 5 years ago, we became the first community college under the guided pathway approach. And the guided pathway approach specifically uses multi-college district, that umbrella for each college to have their individuality, to grow in the manner that they saw fit, based on their population, based on their student body, based on their community needs. Our needs are completely different from Fresno City and Clovis, in that we literally are the model for socioeconomic, first gen, the people who need the most help, who need the most funding. We systematically get less and less funding relative to our growth rate. We grew so much faster than our sisters, but yet classify remain relatively the same. Full-time faculty remain relatively the same, and growth at a much slower pace. Who decided that? Strictly the DO, strictly at the chancellor's discretion. And this is why the state, about 14 years ago, had us form the DBRAC. That created a funding model that is not based strictly on FTES, but by program, by rate of growth. All this was written down in formula. Every constituents group was represented, every single one. All of us came into agreement. And now we have this allocation funding with the title of DBRAC, which, by the way, only met 3 times in the past 2 years. I mean, how's the funding coming? We need the most help, more money, more help. We're not getting.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How are you doing tonight? William Mask, history professor, ASG faculty advisor, program review coordinator. I also serve on APC, the Administrative Planning Committee, and the Equity Committee. I'm currently on 2 tenure committees. I would go on, but I'm like most of my colleagues up here. We truly work our ass off every day. And sometimes it's the most rewarding thing that we do, watching our students blossom and go. And yeah, some of my colleagues point out we've been incredibly successful. The one thing that I'm not going to talk about, shelf space and meeting modalities, none of that stuff really matters to me. What matters to me is the students and how we perform for our students. I'm truly concerned about a couple of issues that some of my colleagues mentioned tonight. Yesterday at the Equity Committee, we talked about equity. And then I went outside to watch the guys set up the tent for today's job fair. The guys that were doing the grounds had to stop and scramble over to help the guys put up the tent, because we only had 2 guys to put up the tent, and it's a 6-man tent. I've put them up before. If you put them up wrong, you're going to fall and get hurt. So we had to stop doing the yards to come over and put up a tent. They don't have that problem with the other schools because they got hella people working on all those departments. And then I'm reading through program review. Our Child Development Center, we're building it with Measure Q, or it actually was Measure M or whatever one it was before. It's finally going up. There's a position that's required by the state that we do not have yet. And then I started looking through other program reviews. Our classified staff is dwindling. It's falling apart right before our very eyes because we do not have enough. It's not anything other than math. It's simply math. It's not about you moving this and moving that. It's about people being put in places to where they're not dog-tired when they go home. I feel bad for my dean. Shelley Connor works her butt off every day, runs a tight ship, runs a fantastic department. In fact, I think every single program in this department is flourishing big time. And that's because she's fantastic, but she hasn't had Steady Freddy, executive assistant, for going on 2.5 years now. We're having to do the work because she's got all the other stuff to do. I can't tell you enough, the budget crisis in Madera is getting to the point where we might need to call the press. We might need to call other people. And then I was going to be nice and quiet because Measure Q is about to roll out here pretty soon. But at the last board meeting, we rolled out the growth monies. Right? Remember that? I remember it. We came in 4th. Well, the numbers that the state provided us say we have an 80% growth over the last 4 years. Not one other college in the state. Going to preach equity.
Madam President, the time has passed 3 minutes.
Equity when it comes to passing out that money.
Can you please wrap up your comment? Thank you.